Some stories aren't about heroes or villains. They're about that one single moment when arrogance meets its consequence. This is one of those moments, a story of a man who learned that hate can't stand where honor stands. Welcome to Silent Divide Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe, because you wouldn't want to miss tomorrow's story. It was a gray afternoon at Arlington National Cemetery. The air was heavy with silence, the kind that carried respect and sorrow. Rows of white marble headstones stretched endlessly across the green hills, and the slow sound of boots echoed down the path. Kendrick Adams, a tomb guard of the unknown soldiers, stood tall at his post-polished shoes, white gloves, rifle steady against his shoulder. His movements were measured, flawless, filled with a kind of grace that came only from years of discipline. Among the gathered mourners, however, stood Earl Thompson, a loud, red-faced man who didn't belong. He was a guest of the deceased's family, but also known for his reckless mouth. As the guard change ceremony began, Earl whispered to a friend, his voice cutting through the sacred quiet. "He thinks wearing that uniform makes him look less of a monkey." Kendrick didn't flinch, but everyone nearby could feel the tension rise like smoke in still air. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments what country or which city you're watching this story from. We'd love to know how far this story travels. The sound of the bugle faded, leaving only the low rustle of flags and the hum of distant wind. The family stood grieving, hands over hearts. Kendrick Adams moved with his usual precision, lowering the ceremonial rifle and stepping aside as the folded flag was presented. Every step, every motion, pure respect. But behind the line, Earl Thompson couldn't stop himself. The whiskey on his breath carried into his words. "Man thinks he's a statue," Earl scoffed. "All that marching for a piece of stone. Bet he's just trying to impress the cameras." A soldier beside him whispered sharply, "Sir, you need to show some respect." Earl's lip curled. "Respect? For who? Him?" He pointed right at Kendrick, loud enough that even the priest paused. Heads turned. Kendrick didn't move an inch, but his eyes shifted, slowly, calmly, to meet Earl's. It wasn't anger that showed in them. It was warning. Quiet, cold warning. Earl smirked. "What? You gonna stare me to death, boy?" For a split second, the silence around the tomb felt heavier, like the air itself was holding its breath. The moment froze, even the wind seemed to pause as eyes turned toward Earl. The priest lowered his Bible slightly, unsure if the ceremony should continue. The family of the deceased stood in disbelief, some shaking their heads. This wasn't just disrespect anymore. It was desecration. But Earl didn't care. He was red-faced, drunk on attention. "Yeah, that's right," he said, stumbling a step closer toward Kendrick. "You think wearing a fancy uniform changes the fact that you're an ape? You're just a guard dog for dead folks." A Marine veteran stepped forward, his medals glinting in the dull light. "Sir, that's enough," he warned. "You're on sacred ground." Earl shoved past him, slurring, "Don't touch me. I'll say what I want." By now, even the honor guards at distance had noticed. Their movements halted. The soft shuffle of boots stopped mid-ceremony. All eyes were on Kendrick. He still hadn't moved. His hands stayed tight on the rifle, his posture unbroken. But his jaw clenched just once. Earl laughed again, louder. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue, guard dog?" The quiet before the storm had never felt this sharp. The crowd went speechless, Even the priest froze mid-sentence. You could feel what he meant, every word dripping with something older than hate, something taught, not born. Even the birds seemed to go silent. The burial ground that once echoed with honor now trembled with tension. Every guard, every mourner, every veteran watched, waiting to see what Kendrick Adams would do. Earl, fueled by pride and liquor, took another bold step forward. "Yeah, I'm talking to you," he barked, pointing a trembling finger at Kendrick's chest. "You think this uniform makes you better than me? I fought too, and nobody gave me no parade. Didn't know they let blacks like you to guard white people's tombs." Kendrick finally turned slow, deliberate, precise, the kind of motion that made time itself hesitate. His gaze met Earl's, unblinking, calm as steel. He said quietly, "You're dishonoring the fallen. Leave now." Earl chuckled darkly. "Or what? You gonna shoot me with that toy rifle?" That was it. The line had been crossed. A veteran tried to hold Earl back, but he shoved him off and charged. "Come on, tough guy. Show me what you got." Kendrick's right hand subtly lowered from his rifle, his stance shifting slightly. Every soldier around knew that movement discipline was about to meet disrespect. Earl's boots scraped against the stone as he lunged forward, wild and unbalanced. In that sacred silence, one sound broke through, the crisp exhale of a soldier ready to defend his honor. Kendrick. Adams didn't shout. He didn't warn. He simply moved. His right foot pivoted, shoulders turning, body flowing like a single motion, trained through years of service and control. His open hand snapped forward, striking clean across Earl's jaw with the precision of a man who had mastered restraint, but knew exactly how to end disrespect. Crack! The sound echoed across the cemetery, sharp, final. Earl's head whipped sideways, his body folding before he hit the ground. A flash of white flew from his mouth, his front teeth scattering across the marble path. The crowd gasped. A woman screamed. Then silence returned, heavy, absolute. Kendrick stepped back, eyes forward, rifle returning to his shoulder. He said nothing, only adjusted his glove and resumed his stance. The veteran who had tried to stop Earl whispered under his breath, "Discipline meets arrogance, and discipline always wins." No one argued. Not a single word followed. The end. Please like and subscribe for more rich stories like this. Comment below. Also, if you really loved this video and want to support the channel directly, you can hit that Super Thanks button below.